Welcome, everybody. Today, our guest is Yagmur from previous cohorts. She was our previous cohort's student, and she landed a job a month ago. So first of all, Yagmur, welcome and congratulations once again. If you remember, during our application review interview, I tell students that you will go through this journey, these steps, and one day you will land a job. And we would like to invite you for a session to share your experience. And generally, students smile at that time, and maybe it is very far from them. And I believe we had the same thing with you. And today, here we are. So how do you feel now?
It kind of seemed to me unrealistic. It was far from being true. It was like a dream for me because I had also, IT background, IT skills. It was very difficult for me, I thought. And then I also thought that I wasn't going to be able to maybe complete until the end. But as you mentioned, here I am today with a job in the cyber market. So I'm also, or I would like to say to all of my friends here, always try to be optimistic. The things will happen if you put enough efforts, if you study a lot, if you try a lot, you are going to see the benefits and you are going to see the consequences at the end. So it is within your capability, within your ability, to accomplish or achieve those things.
We had a module 1 and module 2. Module 3 is preparation for the job market. But right now, the module 1, module 2, they are a bit different from each other. So what is your experience? What are your thoughts about the modules?
So for the first module, I like the book that was suggested by you. I got the hard copy and that was very helpful. I was able to read all the chapters and, do the study questions, the practice questions, and also using the LMS, to do the practice questions again, exam questions. And that was really, really helpful for me to pass the Security Plus exam. For module 1, it was more like a theory-based. Everything was more like a theory. But in the module 2, seeing the things in actions and being able to, touch the tools and having a hands-on experience on the tools, that part I liked more. And for the module 1, as you mentioned, because we were new in the field, we didn't know much about the cybersecurity field. It was a bit confusing. You try to make sense of the things, what is what, even some simple terms like what is DNS. I didn't know what is DNS, and that is a very basic or foundational knowledge that we should be having during the interviews, for instance. So all these simple terms, every day because it was also a very self-paced program, we were also coming across different terms every week and different concepts. I was trying to understand them with the help of the book. But in the second module, seeing them, as I mentioned, in practice, I was feeling more confident then. That was more helpful. And the videos, of course, provided by the LMS, by the instructors, because I learned more watching the things, seeing the things rather than only reading or listening. So that part of the was very helpful, beneficial for me, I can say.
Okay. In general, what would be your recommendations for the students who are taking the module 1? Because, it is an exam targeted module, and you basically learn the theory and solve a lot of questions, practice the questions. So it is stressful. Most of the students see it as a big obstacle in front of them.
So for those who are doing the module 1 and preparing for the Security Plus examination, one of the tips that I can give is work in groups. So they should be having their study groups every week, 1 or 2 days, or maybe three days a week if necessary. They should meet and they should discuss the questions. They should ask each other questions. I don't understand this part. What is your take about this? Can you explain a little bit further? Or if you have any extra resources, can you share with us? So this type of conversations with other people in the course are great, and we were also looking at the questions one by one, all these practice questions as a whole group. And after hearing, not only one time, I think we went over the questions, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 times maybe. And after looking at those questions a couple of times, then when you see those questions on screen during the test, it was automatic. Like you just see the question, you remember the answer, and then click and move on. I wasn't able to take the exam in my home, like not from my computer. I had to go to a test center that time. I think I finished, I don't remember, like 40 minutes or 45 minutes. It took my time, like that much. And then I had to leave early. I had to call my husband to take me back. And he was saying, I wasn't expecting you to be, that early. So why are you so early? I told him, like, I knew all of the questions by heart, so I didn't have to wait until the end of the exam time. That might not be a good idea. Like, if you are not sure about your answers, you should wait until the end of the, the exam duration. But for me, all the questions were very familiar that I completed them very quickly and then completed the test by being sure about my answers.
During the module 2 or at the end of the module 2, you said that during module 1, we were much more stressful. I think you took it very much seriously. You made it yourself stressful. Actually, no need to be that much stressful, right?
During the interviews, I realized that most of the, I don't know, maybe 40% or 45% of the interview questions also come from the Security Plus section. So if you just maybe memorize and then take the test and you don't know anything about it, that is also a red flag. So you may fail the interviews. Try to understand the topics, watch the videos, answer the practice questions, or have a conversation with your group, study group. But don't be too much stressed like us. we were, as you mentioned, we were taking it too much seriously. And then when we moved to the module 2, it was more easygoing. Like, and even, after the course is completed, we took CyberTech Plus examination. So during that time, because we already know how the CompTIA system works, so we were more relaxed. We were just looking at the questions, trying to understand what is asked and being familiar with the questions, and then take the test without postponing or without any delay. So that is the key, I guess.
In general, what was the study and how did you study during module 2?
I liked module 2 better because it was more hands-on. And I think that part is very important because during the interview also, if they ask you, which SIEM tool are you using and how do you use it? Tell me about a case that you used a SIEM tool, this type of questions. You should be able to really being involved in a case or handling an incident, using the tools so that you can answer those questions. Having that case management, practice or experience was great for me. I like that. And I was also doing all the assignments on time. I knew that if I miss anything, all of my friends will, they will be ahead of me, and that if I ask a question, they will say, or maybe they will forget what was it about. If I ask a questions about the previous tool, maybe something went wrong when I installed them. So because it was passed for them, so it is going to be very difficult to get help from my friends, maybe from other people that time. But if you go all together at the same pace, then come across a problem and then another person can jump in and say, hey, I did this and that was able to solve the issue. So you can try this.
It is quite normal that you may fall behind like 1 week, 2 weeks. But if you fall behind for 1 month, it is really difficult to catch up. So during these studies, what kind of challenges did you have?
Yes, about the challenges. There might be some other mothers here, like some of my friends might have kids. I also have one son. He is now 21 months. But during the time that I was enrolled in the program, the first month of the program was like he was 10 months old, and then it was my first time to leave my husband alone with my kid, during those 3 hours when I was studying or when I was in live classes. So that was very painful for me and for my son and for my husband, especially for the first month. He was crying all the time, and I had to concentrate on the live class and trying to understand the concepts. That was my challenge. But after the first month, they got used to each other. My husband was able to handle him properly during that night. So then things got better. But I can also say that after starting this program, like 2 or 3 weeks later, one day, I was having a discussion with my husband. I was saying, I think I wasn't, or I'm not able to complete the program. I will give up. That is not gonna happen. I was very, very desperate. I said, it's not gonna work. I have to give up. I will inform the instructors and the trainers here. And then he tried to convince me, no, you tried a lot, you need to continue, don't give up. Then I gave another chance, and then it happened. I was able to complete the program, took all those tests, and then I have a job now. So never ever give up, please.
Yeah. Can you please tell us about some of the best practices that you had? What were your study strategy?
Reviewing the class content before the class might be for those who are in the live instruction, so they can review the book before they participate the course or participate the class. That might be one of the techniques that I can suggest. And another one is those podcasts that we were listening. Do not miss them. They are assigned to you. Try to listen to them and then get some idea about what is happening in the cyber world. That is another practice that I can give to my friends here. After listening to the course materials, while the idea is fresh in your mind, try to do the assignments as soon as possible. Otherwise, if you postpone, as we mentioned earlier, then you will start to forget some of the things, some of the keys about the topic, about the content. So it is going to be more difficult for you, or it is going to take more time for you to complete those assignments. So do them on time, and ask for help from your friends, from the instructors if you need help before delaying anything. Never delay also taking the Security Plus exam or CyberTech Plus exam if you are at that stage. So delaying those exams will also cause you to forget some of the questions. I was very frustrated during those CyberTech Plus exam preparation, for instance. As I delayed those, then I started forgetting the first 40 or 50 questions that I studied. So it is getting worse, as you delay. So that might be my last practice that I can suggest.
After these studies, Module 1, Module 2, theory-based and hands-on, then we had the Module 3. How was this preparation journey for the market?
So the Module 3 was also laid out very, very well, and then it was well organized. And for instance, if the topic of the class is about interview with the recruiters, then we were provided with sample questions, and then I was able to read those questions and try to prepare my own answers. So if you follow again each step, each topic of this job preparation module seriously, if you take it seriously and prepare yourself, at the end of the Module 3, you will be ready. You will be ready with your answers to the recruiter questions, to the technical questions, and your resume will be ready, your cover letter will be ready maybe. So the most important part is, for instance, tell me about yourself, right? So if you don't have it, once the program ends, then how will you communicate with the recruiters? How will you try to explain about yourself, your skills, to the people who are calling you or during the interviews? How you will, that is the first question. That is the number one question that is going to be asked for all and every interviews, whether it is phone interview or whether it is technical interview, managerial interview, all of them. For instance, I did my draft, the first draft, and then I submitted it using the LMS, and then I got some feedback, some suggestions about how to improve it, how to make it a better tell me about yourself, for instance, like paragraph. Then I took this suggestion seriously, and then I edited it. So those moments that I have these recommendations in one-on-one support program was very helpful, and then during the job interviews, also those job application process, I saw that how precious it was, to have that opportunity to be able to ask all of your questions to the people who have more experience than you. So that was, I think, one of the things that I appreciate about this program, because the groups are small, so you can, when you have a question in your mind, you can put it in a chat, Slack chat, or you can write an email, whatever way you prefer, and then you get your questions answered very quickly, and then you don't get frustrated about it. Because you feel more ready, you feel more confident, and then that is the best thing that I can say about this program, actually.
Module 3 compared to other modules is short, right? It is 2 weeks. But in general, after the 2 weeks prep completed, did you feel that you are ready for the job market, or still you had some worries?
So this is a really good question. So when we finished the module 3, I really didn't feel ready about the job interviews, job applications. That was my feeling, but actually I was ready. So the trick is, you shouldn't wait until you are 100% ready to start applying for the job. After I get the approval, I should be able to start applying for the jobs immediately. I shouldn't say, no, I don't feel ready. How will I talk to the recruiters? How will I present myself in the technical interviews? No, I shouldn't be worried about this. So for me, in my personal experience, the way that it should happen is, I get the approval from my instructors, and then they say, yes, you are ready, you can apply. Then I should immediately start applying for the jobs. I'm still receiving some emails, after getting jobs. As you mentioned, it has been 1 month since I got the job, and then I stopped applying for the jobs maybe 1.5 months ago. I still getting some emails about the result of my applications. So people are returning your applications or replying to your applications 1 month later, 2 months later, 3 months later. That is a long process or a long time. So what you should do, you should immediately start the applications, and then every day, at least maybe 10 or 15 or 20, how much you can afford, apply for those jobs, and then wait for the responses. So if you receive a phone call, a phone interview, try to speak. Apply for all the locations, not only the local area that you are located in. If I just apply for New Jersey area, I wouldn't be able to have a chance to stand in front of the people and get more confident during the interviews while I'm interviewing for different jobs in different parts of the United States. This is a really good preparation. And then try to get familiar with the questions in the interview book. That was also a very, very good resource, actually. So most of the questions come from there. And we were also sharing some questions. It was like a pool of questions that you can read, you can benefit, and then you can prepare yourself accordingly. Do not try to memorize all of them, but try to understand and try to kind of check yourself. How can I answer this question? So if I am asked this question, what should I do? This kind of thing.
Can you please share some of your interview experiences? How did you feel before the interview sometime, and how did you feel after the interviews?
Looking back on my interview experience, I can say that for the numbers I checked before this program, I applied for 418 jobs. That was the manual application. I also applied through the recruiters who reach out to me. That I didn't count because that was countless. So every day, 2-3 recruiters were reaching out to me, and then they were sending me the rate of confirmation and everything. And I was giving the approval to them. They were applying on my behalf. So I think 500 maybe applications I got, during this whole process. And then I was able to have interviews with 8 different companies. Some of them I got only first or second interview, first and second technical interview. Some of them I got the third one, like the hiring or managerial interview. During that process, some interviews I was asked like 40 or 60, 50 questions. Like, the quiz that you were, or it was like how could I say, like one question after another and another and another. So it was like, what am I going to do now? Like, you have to really be quick at answering those questions, and you have to be also staying calm and confident at the same time. That was very hard. And some of the interviews are more like two companies that I got interview. There were maybe 1 or 2 technical questions only, and the rest was only behavioral questions. So they were trying to understand what kind of person you are. Are you a person that is functioning well in a team, or are you a person that we can work together with? They were trying to understand your strengths and your weaknesses, maybe. My current company, they ask only 1 or 2 technical questions before they hire me. And then I was surprised. So today, for instance, I got the interview with the people, with the team. And then after 2 hours or 1.5 hours, I got the result. I got the, recruiter calling me and saying that, so they want to continue with you. And I was shocked because some of the interviews, after getting the interview, I wasn't able to hear from them in 1 month, 2 months. So that was weird, getting the answer right after the interview. That was really shocking for me. So why I am saying this? Because you never know. Every company is different. Their style is different. There is no general rule that applies to everyone. So try to be prepared for every condition, every situation. I liked also, the interviews that asked me 40 questions, 50 questions. So they were more like security plus questions, or some of them were more scenario-based questions. So I like them also because they helped me like to improve my skills, improve my knowledge. Because after the interview, what I did, I just did my research and learned about those topics. What are they? So, for instance, if the company asking more about Wireshark, and I should go back and sharpen my skills about Wireshark, try to review those topics again, because another company may ask the same questions, in the future. So I thought that every interview experience is like a learning opportunity, as you mentioned. It is like a free resource that you can develop yourself. It took me 3 months to land a job. At the end of the 3 months, I was kind of a little bit like losing my hope. But suddenly another opportunity came up, and then I just accepted that, and now here I am. So you never know.
One of the things that we always said during Module 3 to our students who are applying for jobs, please let us know if you receive an interview invitation so that we can discuss with you in advance and we can prepare you for the interview. And you used this opportunity very well. I know our communications, how many times I didn't count. But before the interviews, you reach out to us and said, I have interview a couple of days later. And we had a Zoom call, we had discussions, we talked about the possible questions they may ask to you, right? And after the interviews, we had feedback session. What did they ask? What happened? How did it go? So you used this opportunity. I am really thankful that you reach out to us. When we help our students, we become much more happy. So from your perspective, how was this experience?
Yeah, I forgot to mention that, and thank you for bringing that up. I think that is one of the best things about this program. So, as I mentioned before, I had an interview, or I had a chance to contact with 8 different companies, and imagine that I got 2 or 3, 3 interviews with each of them. It is 20 or 24, right? 24, or let's say 20 interviews. So I was able to contact you, asking about your feedback. So these pre-interview sessions 20 times, and then after interview sessions 20, it is more than like 30 or 40 meetings just for one person, just for me. So I really appreciate the time that you were putting for this. That was really, really helpful to be able to ask my questions in mind, because some of the interviews, when I look at the job description, I was thinking that that is not for me. That job is not for me, right for me. I don't have the skills, the right skills that I can accomplish, or I can be successful in this job, and then I might give up. But with the motivation and encouragement that I got during those feedback sessions, I was able to attend the interviews. I was able to maybe move on to the next level, like technical interview, second or third interview. And that was all because of those feedback sessions. Because I don't have experience, right? I mean, I really need that feedback from an experienced person to guide me, to support me. And just one real, experience or real example. My current job, the job title, job description was about insider threat. During the program, we weren't using a real insider threat detection program. It wasn't geared towards detecting those kind of behavior. So I just thought that, no, this is not right for me. I think I should just call the recruiter. They reached out to me and said that we look at your resume and we would like to invite you for an interview. And then I contacted you. I told you that, I think I should just tell them that, no, I'm not available. Can we cancel the interview? So during that time, the answer that I got from you was, you shouldn't do that, because they pick you looking at your resume. They invited you to an interview. They know your background. They know how you are capable. So now you need to go and you need to present yourself with the current knowledge that you have. And then the rest is up to them. If they find a better candidate, then they will go with them. But if they think that you are a person that is open to learning, even if you don't know that specific tool, maybe they are open to train you. They are just looking for, lifelong learners for their companies. And because of that specific recommendation, I was able to attend the interview, take it, as I mentioned, like just 1 or 2 technical questions I got during that interview, and then they offered me the job. So please take those or make use of those sessions very well. I really recommend everyone to contact our course instructors and the CyberTech labs. If you have any interview schedules, ask their opinions. So they're going to share their experience and you will benefit a lot. Use that opportunity. So that is the thing that I can say for everyone.
Some of your technical interviews were hard. Some of the companies that you had interviewed ask you a lot of questions. Normally, that is, more than expected. So how did you feel about that? Did you have any time you felt guilty after an interview?
Yeah, some of the interviews, when they ask so many questions and so many questions that you need to just answer with a right answer. It is not like scenario-based questions. It is like, what is this? Tell me this, or how could I say, what is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of that? If you don't know the term, if you don't know the concept, you cannot guess it, or you cannot make any comments about it. So these kind of questions were hard. They were hard because if you don't have that technical or theoretical knowledge, you may not answer it, right? So after those interviews, I felt like I am not enough to be able to have a job in cybersecurity. But some of the interviews, during the interviews, the hiring manager, they were saying that, okay, now we are going to ask you a couple of questions. Sometimes a couple is 4 days, sometimes 20. You never know. So we are going to ask you a couple of questions, but we don't want you to feel bad if you don't know the answer of those questions. We just want to know your reasoning, the process of, how you reason about the things, about the concepts. So they just want to know how you can, or what you can decide about the things if you don't have an idea about, right? So that is normal, they say. Don't be upset about it. Then that kind of comforted me. And then if I don't know something, I just said I don't know, or they understood it and they just went to the next question. My advice would be everyone in this group, they can try to make use of the group environment, like working as a group is very, very precious, especially during the program. Everyone, they have the same focus, they have the same, sometimes they are at the same pace. So try to arrange some time together as a group. Sometimes you can also share your experience, even during the job preparation or job application process. You can talk about your interviews, your experience during those job application process. So that is also very helpful. And again, mentioned previously that never stop learning. I know that reviewing for interview questions again and again might be very tiring, and sometimes you may feel like you are doing the same thing again and again, but you're going to benefit a lot at the end. So never give up. Review those interview questions that is provided to you, and then review the questions that were asked to you personally during your interviews. And then at the end, you will see the benefit, you will see the fruits of your efforts. That is not easy. I wasn't a technical person at the beginning. And then I really cannot believe that I am here right now talking to you from the other side of the coin. So that is not impossible. That is possible. If you really put your efforts to try your best to do the things, you will have it one day. But we don't know when. Just try and don't give up.